Hello and welcome to round 2 of the Parenting Roundabout podcast. I'm Catherine Haleko and I'm here with Terry Morrow. Say hi, Terry.
Hello.
Usually on this podcast we talk about parenting issues, but once a week Terry and I like to get together to discuss TV, movies, books, and other entertainment topics because it's nice to talk about something other than parenting for a change. This week we'll chat about a special episode of the West Wing Weekly podcast that was very relevant to our interests. But first, Dancing with the Stars Juniors. It was, they called it Time Machine Night or something.
Yeah.
Where they gave the kids a decade that they were sort of representing with their dances. And in some cases that meant they danced to music from that era, but in most cases it was other songs.
Maybe it's like 2012. I looked it up.
And it was for the 80s. I was like, there is so much 80s music you could use.
Were they unable to license it or something? That was very weird.
Yeah, that one did not make sense. Like the other ones I could kind of see because, you know, like the 40s, it's hard to get a song that anyone has, that kids have heard of.
Right.
Or can relate to in any way.
What, they couldn't get a song from the future? What, come on, what kind of laziness is that?
Nice try.
That was, boy, I feel bad that he went home on that dance because I think Cheryl did them no favors with that.
Yeah, that was weird. That was Mandla, and they had to do a Paso Doble, and like, even when she was explaining it to him in the package, he looked like, what are you talking about, lady? And that's how I felt, too, listening to it. Like, what are you doing, Cheryl?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
That you could do future, so you have to do science fiction. You could just do future. There has to be an easier way to do that. Yeah. He didn't look too upset, but that was too bad. Because, I think he did the dance well. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was just weird and difficult to follow, and stuff going on that was distracting. Yeah. So that was more for the team than for the particular player, I think. Mm-hmm. I like the fact that when somebody goes home, they call the name of the adult. Yes. That's one other thing about this show that I think is good. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it makes me feel better about the fact when I'm chanting the name of the person I want to go home, I don't have to be picking on the kid.
So you were over there chanting. Mackenzie.
We discussed Mackenzie before, and I feel bad because she seems like a very nice girl and she's very enthusiastic and everything, but she just, seems, I think she's too experienced for this. I thought her dance this week was not good, and that therefore it might be the entree for her to shuffle off.
Yes, no. I thought the same thing. This was the Call Me Maybe, and it was supposed to be jazz, and I just didn't care for it. I really tried to separate, how I feel about her and her being on the show versus but I just didn't like the dance. I'm sorry. No,
I didn't. I thought the choreography was bad, and the performance was kind of clumsy. And she's usually very, very good because she is an experienced dancer.
Right.
And not so much this time, I thought. But, the judges saw it differently. So, okay.
Yeah.
Although I think she did get possibly the lowest score.
I think she did, actually. Because I was keeping track.
Right.
And
I think Miles got the highest, which was fine because that was a great dance.
Actually, Mandla got lower.
Okay.
Than Mackenzie, you're right. Miles got the highest, and then and then Sky and Ariana tied, and I thought both of theirs were really, really good.
They were very good.
Even though, I could lay the criticism of not having a song from the actual decade, but that Sky doing a Charleston in a flapper dress, you can't even.
Too cute.
You cannot resist that action at all.
So adorable.
And Ariana and her, in particular, her partner is super cute.
Yes.
Artyom, he's like, you can't resist these dimples. I'm like, oh my gosh. I can't.
She looked fabulous in that getup too.
Yes.
Very. That suited her.
Mm-hmm.
The whole outfit and hair and makeup and everything.
Right.
She looked terrific. Yeah, they're so adorable. And lots of, I could have done without all the troop stuff in pretty much,
yeah,
I guess
most
the two
of
littles and in
the Paso Doble, the
Paso Doble also.
Doble. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the 80s one, Mackenzie's Dance, the whole, I kept thinking lots of faffing about here. It's like you have to have, 30 seconds of, hey, phones used to be a thing before they started dancing.
And the whole that was like the split screen and just dance together.
You guys are supposed to be like the super good dancers. Do your super good dancing.
Right.
But so that just because the little ones were so cute and energetic and charming, the older ones really stood out as the weakest. So I'm still hoping for team little ones, which I group Miles in, even though he's the same age as the teenagers, just because small person solidarity.
Yes.
And
he's quite the little showman.
He really
Miles.
is. He's very good. Mm-hmm. I believe that boy's had some dance lessons before.
And I thought he had the jive. That's hard. He did a good job.
Yeah. I got to figure every child actor has had dance lessons, right?
At some point. I
don't think Ariana started it with this either. Sky, I don't know.
Sky, I don't think so, honestly.
I have a feeling with her, and I didn't get that vibe from her parents when they showed up, but I get that vibe from her that she's being groomed to be a star. And they've got good material. So kudos to whoever picked her out of the skate park and said, this kid has something. Mm-hmm. But a lot of her little speeches sound coached to me.
Yeah.
So somebody is telling her what to do. And I imagine that person may have had her in dance lessons at some point. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's mom and dad or an agent or what, but she is not a wholly organic act, I don't think.
Yeah.
But that said, she's adorable. I love her. She's a fantastic dancer. JT is the adorablest, and I hope they win. Mm-hmm. So, that's, they're great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am enjoying watching them. So
Right. Yeah, so that's a fun show. The again wasn't too painful, the ending. So
Sky was crying. Yeah, Mandla wasn't, but Sky was.
Yeah, Sky was.
So they had to quickly pan away from Sky.
Really. Somebody in an editing room kept that shot in. No crying children in your finale. Dancing with the Stars Junior, whether they're the ones being eliminated or the ones upset that their friend was eliminated. No crying children. It's not that hard.
It's really not.
Stop it.
Anyway, well, next week is the semifinals, they said. Yes. So we will watch that. And then today...
started before the seniors, right?
I honestly can't even remember.
But it's not until after. It's long.
It's strange. And did you see Milo in the background of...
I did not.
He was behind the judges at one point. Ah. And that had to have been back before.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was right.
Filmed before. So I thought that was a fun little...
Yeah.
Like, ooh, I see you.
Catch.
I see you there.
I did not notice.
Well, let's move on to... the West Wing Weekly podcast. Normally we watch an episode of The West Wing and then we listen to an episode of the podcast and then we talk about them both. But this week they did a special episode that was all about Parks and Recreation and how that show was influenced by The West Wing. And they had the show's creator, Mike Schur. They had Adam Scott and Rob Lowe, although not all at the same time. But all in all, it was a very fun and enjoyable podcast to listen to hear the crossovers and the influences that happened. They talked a lot about the episode called Live Ammo, which was during Leslie's campaign for city council. So I just rolled right into watching that on Netflix as soon as I finished watching the podcast. I even considered stopping the podcast and watching the show and going back, but I did not. So, what did you think?
I really enjoyed the podcast. I thought that was a lot of fun and very nicely done. And, that they were able to also get Rob Lowe, although sadly in a separate location.
Right.
But I was interested to hear, because I watched Brothers and Sisters, and I remember it being odd that he was leaving that to go do this comedy. And maybe I knew at the time, but I don't think so. I don't think it ever came out really why he left. But what he said makes complete sense, because I think he left, they had gone from sort of a political storyline to an adoption storyline, which good for Callista Flockhart, less good for him. I think he had a heart attack at some point too. It's like
his character on Brothers and Sisters. Wow.
Yes. Rob Lowe's character had a heart attack,
and then he went on to play Chris Traeger, like the healthiest person who's going to live to be.
He had a
100.
heart attack, survived that, but then he wound up getting killed in a car accident after, I guess, he decided to do this. So it's interesting to hear why he had decided to leave and that he wanted to do something different. That makes complete sense. And what a fun character for him to have played.
Yeah. Yes, he talked about how he was ready to do a comedy because he had been doing drama, and he kind of likes to switch back and forth.
Yes. Well, he was very, very good in the comedy.
Yes.
And Mike Schur and Adam Scott talking about the show. I don't know if it seems like there might have been some stuff I hadn't heard before, but fun to make the comparisons with the West Wing and all the different places where things sort of reflected.
Yeah. And, some of that stuff I hadn't picked up on, of course, just from when I watched Parks and Rec, that was before I watched The West Wing.
That's right. That's right.
So, and I'm not so good at remembering and going back and thinking, oh yeah, that was like that. I tend to miss on those sort of things.
I thought that was funny that when they realized the Live Ammo episode was getting awfully close to the Ainsley Hayes West Wing plot, he asked Aaron Sorkin for permission, and once he got it, then they went crazy with the West Wing references. That was fun. And
then he saved that email to this day. The email from Aaron Sorkin.
Yes, that is very fun.
Yeah.
I do think it's too bad that Bradley Whitford and Rob Lowe didn't get to be in the same scene, but I understand what they're saying.
Yeah.
But
but for it was just so Parks and Rec to have all that going on for a city council. City council position.
Yes. Yeah. The one thing I wish that would have been fun to do in Parks and Rec, but they can't really do it. But honestly, Leslie and Ben would be completely nuts, bonkers West Wing fans, and they would be exchanging West Wing lines all the time. And that would have been a fun thing for them to have written in somewhere.
Yes.
But I guess they couldn't really do that.
Yeah.
But in real life, I think they would have been watching the West Wing DVDs every night.
Yes, I totally think
quoting lines to each other.
Absolutely.
Yes. So that was very fun.
And it was just fun to hear a little bit more about sort of the origins of the Ben and Chris characters.
Yeah.
And how they came to be, and how there was, it started out as more like there was only going to be one of them.
Uh-huh.
And then when they found out they could maybe get Rob Lowe, it was like, well, how about both?
Yeah. That was cool. So it was like that character was sort of developed once they knew they could get him. And then the network, nice thing that the network did for them, because I think that did bring them some eyeballs.
Right.
I know they were struggling up
at a time when they needed them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So fun. If, for any of our listeners who are fans of West Wing, Parks and Rec, both or either, check out that episode if you don't listen to that.
Yeah, if you're not already listening to the West Wing Weekly podcast, it's worth it for this one. If you're a Parks and Rec fan, I would agree.
Yeah. Very enjoyable. It made me think of that. I I think I must have showed you this video where Rob Lowe was pretending to be a diva and kind of dumping on all the other actors there.
On Parks and Rec?
Yeah. Yeah, it was when they were, I think they had been off for a little while and they were coming back on. He was like, "What? You're telling me I haven't been on TV?" I'll find that link and we'll put it in the show notes also. Okay. But when he was talking about, coming into a show that already exists and he has his own, sort of reputation and experience and stuff, it made me think of that video, which was very funny and showed that he has a sense of humor. Mm-hmm. Or else is a complete nightmare, but I'm pretty sure that he has a sense of humor. It's very funny. So yeah, I enjoyed that they found a time to do this episode, and at the end of a season is the perfect time to do it.
Yes.
It's a little gift for us listeners who are Parks and Rec fans. Mm-hmm. Does not necessarily excuse for me the fact that they're not immediately moving on into the next season.
True, although it's only
cool our heels in podcast void for a week.
One more week.
Yes.
So, well, that brings us to what our plans are for the coming days, I would say. So
since stuff keeps stopping on us.
Stuff keeps stopping.
We keep going. So the juniors keep going. As long as the juniors keep going, we got to keep going.
Right. So the juniors are going to have their semifinals next week. So we will meet back here next Tuesday to discuss that. And since we won't have a new West Wing or a new Good Place to talk about because the next Good Place will air on December 6th.
Just hang out in the void.
Yes, they're all in the void, and it's hard to make TV shows there.
I guess so.
We'll find out.
There's a delay.
Yes. So instead, there is this new Netflix original documentary series called just simply Dogs. And we are going to watch the first one. I personally am probably going to watch all 6 of them because I have a lot of time on my hands on a bus coming up.
Alrighty.
But you'll at least watch the first one.
Yes, I will.
Which is about a girl with epilepsy and her service dog. So they probably should come prepackaged with a box of tissues. I'll be on a bus, like I said. So that'll be it for our round 2 today. Please subscribe to our Parenting Roundabout podcast so you won't miss any of our episodes, including our daily speed rounds and weekly group chats. As always, you can find recaps, links, and an opportunity to comment on our website at parentingroundabout.com. Bye, Terry.
Bye, Catherine.
Bye, everyone.